Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and I'm excited to share with you today our August stamp of the month called Goodbyes Are Not Forever. Today's video is going to focus on 3 different cards that you can create with scenery stamps and some inspiration to do that, as well as a full process video on how to create one of those cards together. So every month I create a Stamp of the Month bonus kit that coordinates with our Stamp of the Month program. August Stamp of the Month, Goodbyes Are Not Forever, is this gorgeous scenery stamp. It has this large scene of the creek running through the trees. It has another tree over there, a single, and some sentiment stamps, some absolutely gorgeous sentiment stamps. Some of the stamps focus on sympathy. We never want sympathy cards, right? But we need them. But they're also interchangeable to some non-sympathy. So my Stamp of the Month bonus kit this month creates 5 cards and 3 different designs. So I have 2 cards with one design, 2 cards with another design, and then this single card with a flip-up design. We're going to concentrate on doing a little bit of ink pad watercoloring, as well as making some faux backgrounds, some faux wood grain backgrounds. And we're going to do a couple different techniques where I'm cutting apart some watercolor wash pieces, where I'm popping up some watercolor wash pieces over the top of some black and white. The card that we're going to create today is actually this card here that has a faux wood grain background. Many of you have probably done this before, or you've seen videos on how to create the faux wood grain background. And I've actually stamped the entire scene on one piece and then cut out a circle piece in the center, used a stamp pad watercolor wash on that circle, popped that up on the black and white background, added a little tearing technique and a cute little cricket fence, as well as some sequins to create a really gorgeous scenery card. This next card, I've created a watercolor wash background with 3 different colors. I created a watercolor wash. I keep saying watercolor wash, but it's with our ink pad, super easy, on the scenery circle, cut that circle apart, popped that up over the watercolor wash background, added the little cricket color fence and a little bit of the grass, added some sequins and some additional sentiments to create another gorgeous scenery card. On this one, I've actually created an interactive flip up element where I've stamped the entire scene on the background, stamped that scene again on the flip up piece, and then stamped the sentiments and some additional icons inside, and then allowed it so that it would still be an open up card, and then to be able to add your note of sympathy or whatever you would like to write on the inside. So we're going to create this card together today, and we're actually going to create the faux wood grain background. But my Stamp of the Month bonus kit is pre-packaged. It has all of the pre-cut pieces needed to create all 5 cards. You simply add your own technique to that according to my instructions. So the cricket cuts are included, the background pieces are included, the card bases and envelopes are included, the bling is included. And so when my paper crafters get those kits, they simply open up the pieces and follow my instructions. So I have a mink piece of cardstock that is going to be the card base. We're going to score it at 1/2, 1, 1/2, 1, and 1/2, and then we're going to flip it over. It is mink 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because it's a card base. We're going to grab our mink ink and a blending brush, and we're going to actually rub over that to create a piece that looks like wood grain. Now, I learned how to do this a couple different ways years ago, actually using some texture paste was one way. There were quite a few different ways that I learned to do this in the past, but as of the most recent videos that I've seen, and I've seen this by quite a few different people, uses this inking technique. And the one that comes to mind that I've seen, I think the most recently, there were a lot of them, but Tanya Roberts was one of them. So I'll link her video here for you. And I apologize, I have my hair up and it's sticking out. I would love to be like Grace Kelly or somebody like that, but I'm more like Lucille Ball sometimes. I promise it goes away. I have super long hair. It's down past my rear end, and it just, sometimes it is just crazy and it's in the way. Sorry for the distraction. Now I'm coming back in with our blending brushes and a little toffee ink. So you can do this on all different colors. You can make all different colors and tones on your faux wood grain. And again, that video that I linked from Tanya Roberts has tons of different colors that and examples that she's used, but it's so easy. And I'm trying to get the scored lines a little bit more so it does look like the panel there and the wood grain panel. You can score it in different increments and more random increments. So you could have done 3/4 of an inch, a 1/4 of an inch. You could have really close panels together. Now I have 1 inch by 4 1/4 inch strips of glacier. The second card, the only difference is it used strips of sage. And I found that I had some ink on my fingers still. So bumbling around here, and I wiped that off, but it's actually not going to show. We're going to tuck these pieces under. The white daisy piece is 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I'm wiping off my all-purpose mat. I love my all-purpose mat for that reason. I like to work on it so it's wipeable. And then I like to put my Versamat underneath on the soft side when I do my inking and my stamping. So I'm simply using a little bit of tearing here on these pieces. You could ink them or not ink them depending on if you want the white core to show. If you don't want the white core of our paper to show, tear away from yourself. Toward yourself for the white core to show, away from yourself if you don't want it to show. Now I'm using some intense black and the larger scenery stamp on my 3 1/2 by 4 1/4 inch white daisy piece, and I'm just going to center that stamp in the center of that white daisy piece, just reminding you that I have the soft side of my Versamat. If you don't have a Versamat, you definitely should, but if you don't have one, simply use the spongy material that comes in our stamp set and put that underneath, and it will stamp great for you as well. That works great. Now I'm grabbing a 3-inch circle thin cut from our Shaker Window Thin Cuts just because I love to use that 3-inch circle, but you can use a circle punch. We also have some other circle thin cuts of different sizes, and I'm actually just going to thin cut out the center of that piece. I'm going to leave the outer piece black and white, and then I'm going to use a little bit of an ink pad watercolor wash technique on the center circle. So the center circle is colored and then the outer circle is black and white. And we're going to raise that circle up so that it pops up out of that black and white and just creates an interesting scenery card. So I have sage, sage, glacier, and Sundance, and I actually forget to bring out my toffee, and we're going to use toffee too. So I squeezed a little bit of ink into the lid, and I've added a little bit of water from my water brush. I actually have separate water, but you can also just squeeze the water from the water brush. I'm using glacier ink here and a medium water brush. So if you don't have one of our water brushes, we have small, we have medium, or we have a flat wide. You can use any kind of a little paintbrush that you have, and I'm just simply adding that watercolor on the stream here of the glacier. And it's kind of just going to be a wash look, not perfect colors. It's just so beautiful just to wash those colors on there. I'm actually wiping off my brush and I'm rinsing and wiping it off. And now I'm going to come in with the sage and I'm going to do the grassy areas with the sage. Just a little rough watercolor in, not perfect, not coloring every bit, leaving a little bits of it white. And I'm going to come back in with that and color all of those grassy areas in sage. Next, I'm going to come in with Sundance, and I'm going to color all of the trees and the leaves with the Sundance color and make it look like a nice fall look. Now, you could definitely, if this was going to be a more summery card, you could use green colors on those leaves and on the tree. You could also come back in with the toffee and do the trunk of the tree. I'm actually just going to leave the trunks and the branches of my tree the stamped black. I feel like I've got enough color with this. I'm just going to come in with that Sundance. So again, if you're not familiar with our Stamp of the Month program, it's a wonderful program in which you can qualify each month as a VIP to get the Stamp of the Month for free. It's always each month it's a stamp that is $18.95 normally at regular price, but by placing a qualifying order, VIPs get that Stamp of the Month for free. My VIPs that earn that Stamp of the Month, or even my non-VIPs that earn or purchase that Stamp of the Month, get my guide for free to be able to create whatever I've created with that Stamp of the Month. Then, with a qualifying order, all of those that have earned the Stamp of the Month for me actually get my kit mailed to them so they can simply pull out all the pieces and add the treatments to those pieces and create. And it's designed to help them create with that stamp and get that stamp out instead of leaving that stamp in the plastic and never using it. So I went back in and I did the bench and the bridge with the toffee, and now I'm adding the sentiment at the top. I think one of the cards doesn't have a sentiment and one of the cards does, just so I could show you the differences. And now I'm actually coming back in here with the glacier, and I'm going to stamp some clouds. Now, I was frustrated with myself because there's two cute little cloud stamps, and somehow in my creating, my little cloud is lost. And I hate it when I do that. Usually I'm a really good girl and I'll put those right back on the carrier sheet so I don't lose them. But I actually just did the stamping of those clouds with the glacier. And I just stamped that one cloud and kind of toggled it a little bit since I can't find my other cloud. Do you do that? It's here. I will find it, but it was driving me crazy. So now we have all of our little bits and pieces. We have two little cricket fences. We have the torn pieces. I'm going to start with the top torn piece, and I'm just going to place that at the top of our faux wood grain base. And then I'm going to add, and I like to work on the base before adding it to the card base, simply because if there's little bits that need trimmed off of the edge, then I can trim those off without ruining the whole card. So now I'm going to add our 3.5 by 4 1/4 inch piece that has our circle cut out, but I'm not going to press the bottom down all the way because I'm going to tuck our other torn piece underneath. And then I'm going to pop up the center circle with foam tape and cover over the top of the black and white circle piece with that. If you don't have a maker, and you need a maker and you would like to be able to have access and the option to get Stamp of the Month bonus kits, definitely I'll link in the description on how you become a Snips by Kelly paper crafter. It's simply by placing an order on my shop site, but I have so many different groups and things for my Snips by Kelly paper crafters. And then I can also link in the description how you can get this full or earn this full kit with all 5 cards as a Snips by by Kelly paper crafter. Many other makers create Stamp of the Month bonus kits as well. So you may already have a maker that does bonus kits for you. But if you don't, I'd love to have you. We have such a great group of Snips by Kelly paper crafters. So now I'm adding that cricket fence to that, and I'm going to toggle it so it's a little higher on one side and a little lower on the other side, just for a little added interest. And then I'm going to snip that off on the side. And I love just adding that little added interest. And isn't that watercolor ink pad painting so beautiful and so easy? It's so fast, and you don't have to worry about being so perfect with your details. I just love how that looks. I've been doing that a lot lately. In fact, I showed a lot of these techniques in another video in which we were using irresistibles. I'll link that in the description as well. I did some coloring with shimmer brushes. I did some coloring with ink pads and adding water to our inks. I did some blending brush coloring. I did some sponge dauber coloring. There's just so many ways to color that are fast and easy. Now we're adding that to the base, and I actually have a ton of leftover sequins here from our old color of the year, and now I'm drawing a complete blank because I'm on camera. It's going to come to me, but I'm going to actually use some of these sequins, not the super bright ones, but the ones that sort of lend themselves to the glacier and the sage. And I absolutely loved this color, and I'm looking at it right now, and I cannot think of what it is. You guys are probably hollering at me. But anyway, I have a ton of these sequins left over, and I like to add lots of extra little sequins here and there just to finish off the card. And we did it. So I hope you enjoyed this process video on how to create using faux backgrounds, watercolor ink pad painting, and creating with scenery stamps. If you found this useful or entertaining or helpful, I would love for you to hit subscribe and follow. Shoot me a comment and let me know what you think, and share with me. I love to read everyone's comments. Thanks for playing with me today. Happy scrapping and have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.